Hey, everybody, welcome back to this episode of Think Business Live. I'm looking forward to talking to Les Lance, who's the Vice President of Operations at The Answer People, an IT support professional who also provides business services, advice and security management, law, human resources, marketing, finance, etc. Les, if it's one thing that I hear a lot is I need a good IT group. Right. Everybody needs a good IT group. And so you and your team have been doing this for 20 years.
Yes.
And, so congratulations on the longevity of the company. I always love hearing that. But when it comes to IT support, and we're going to talk about you as a company, the Answer People, as well as we're going to dive into kind of the inner workings of one of your clients, J&G Pallets and Trucking, to kind of give people the story and inside look at what you actually do so they can kind of understand how you can help them a little bit more. But my first question is with IT, as we sit here, Les, it's February 5th, 2021. IT became exceptionally important during COVID and now in a post-COVID hybrid world. What should companies be thinking about moving forward when it not only comes to the IT, but the backup that things that they need to be ready for all future IT things?
Yeah. So first and foremost, security. Security is very key right now. There's a lot of interesting people out there who's doing some very crazy things, and they're taking advantage of our vulnerabilities in our home or even in our remote workspace, whether it's home or some other place that's not necessarily set up in a centralized IT environment that most companies or corporations will have available to them. I think that's primary thing to look at right now in this post-COVID hybrid environment, as you described it.
And when it comes to security, dive a little bit into that. There's encryption. There's so much more e-commerce going on in the world right now. I mean, I see as a business coach, there's e-commerce for not only, the retail world, but for professional service companies as well. And so, there's so many things to look at. So what specifically when it comes to security do we need to kind of keep our eyes open?
A lot of it's basic stuff, your emails, what have you, securing your password environment, your environment, your modems, and even your IoTs right now. Everything's available now where you can turn off your lights via your cell phone device, or you have it connected to your modems or what have you. There's a lot of vulnerabilities right now within the home that people aren't even looking at. Your Ring devices, which are very common. So that's a very particular issue that's going on right now. Cameras, whether they're in the office plan environment or in your home space as well, is very important to upgrade the firmwares when they're available, and then security with your passwords, what have you, make it very difficult. And then me personally, I have my own security system set up in my home as well. I make sure I upgrade everything. I even turn them off when I know I'm at home for a long period of time, just to give them a break. One thing I suggest with a lot of folks, they find themselves having trouble with their cell phone. Turn it off. Everything needs to take a break for a minute. You need to go to sleep for a minute. Let the phone at least sleep for 5 minutes and then turn it back on. And in that process, it'll reboot, clean everything up. If there's any updates that need to be put onto the devices, whether it's a camera, cell phone, your laptops, those things take place as well too at that time in most instances.
I love what you're talking about. And so when it comes to IT and a lot of things that you guys also do as a company, you move into other avenues, of IT support. And so, a lot of times when companies are thinking IT and some of these other ancillary services, what are some of the others and how are they connected? So how does a company like you go in and help with all of these collectively?
Yeah. So again, like you mentioned, a lot of ancillary things that we provide as well. We provide marketing services, so web development, social media services, again, these are a wide range of things that we had to evolve in over 20 years. The reality is the network management that was required 20 years ago has been super, super simplified. And in doing so, you don't need the high expertise IT support person to manage all these things. So a lot of those things have been taken care of from an environmental standpoint, regardless of who's delivering the hardware, whether it's a Cisco environment or some other environment that could easily, Dell, what have you, who can easily, implement a lot of the requirements and services that need to be implemented by us 20 years ago are now built into the hardware itself. So
yeah. I love that. Okay, so to give kind of a real life example, one of your clients where you kind of go in-house as the business manager doing your IT services as part of the answer.
Yes.
People is J&G Pallets and Trucking. And so when you're going in-house with a company like this, what do you do to help them as far as being an arm to really help them, stabilize and grow the business?
Yeah, so when we came into J&G Pallets, we came in there to simplify some minor things, to help them out with some IT support services. In the process, we discovered some things that they needed some assistance with. A lot of that was business development, the business processes being implemented and put in place. Of course, being an IT firm, we also have some business acronyms that we can lean back on, some business experiences we can lean back on, and we were able to bring that and share that with J&G Pallets. So we help increase their sales growth from our initial entry into their organization, almost 80-90% from today, when we started with them, maybe in 2013. Of course, we enhanced their IT services. In the process, we help simplify a lot of their office environment, got their accounting practices elevated and enhanced, put those things in place for the organization. We have, like I said, increased their sales, assisted with their marketing, help lead them into areas in the region that they had not been in before with that sales growth. So there was a period, for the most part, their business was only in a maybe 10-mile environment. And from time to time, they had some work in Chicago or maybe in the Indiana, Ohio area, but that wasn't, growing or growing in a manner that they were hoping for that to happen. So this was kind of what we did for them. And again, part of that, as well as we did some web development for them. In the process, we've assisted them with acquiring some loans and some grants. Any ideas? $100,000. Motor City Match, $100,000. Put together their business plan and to help them acquire a loan to pick up a 43,000 square foot facility, which we've completely moved into now. And of course, the answer people implemented all their IT services for that as well too. So.
Yeah, I love that. So I mean, you're really helping them not only on a tactical level, but really on a strategic level as well. And I think sometimes a lot of companies, they need more IT support than they think because, and you saw that, we saw that with COVID because, the ones that really utilize their IT people as strategic partners were able to quickly pivot and get people working remotely overnight.
You know what, John? One thing I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, this show's about you, Les, not me.
One thing I've shared with a number of organizations, startups, what have you, is don't get stuck on just getting a lawyer, getting an accountant. What are the four that you had to get? But include your tech guy too. Technology needs to be updated minimum every 3 years. No different than when you're leasing a car. Okay. Yeah. If you don't go into your business and plan your business accordingly with that mindset, you're gonna fall to the side, and eventually you're gonna have to probably spend more than you have to if you maintain your technology on a regular basis, just like you would your car.
Okay, good. I love that. And so when people resist that, they resist it because they think they can call upon the IT person when they need it because they don't want to invest in it. Because, like, what is the reasoning?
Yeah, they don't look at the investment, or they put it like this. They feel like IT is going to be something that just stay the way it is as long as they have what they have.
Yeah.
So while you have a device, whether it's a phone, laptop, your network, your switches, your hardware at home, or even at the office, everything else around technology is advancing. Applications are advancing, programs are advancing. There are certain browsers now that don't even support Flash. Okay, so if you don't have a website that doesn't require Flash to be utilized to be uploaded, guess what? You may have a website there, may have some things there, but it's not wholly functional. So these are things that you need a support IT support person there to help explain these things to you as you're growing. You want to make sure that you have everything in place, not just with your lawyer, not just with your accountant, but you got to have your tech guy on the board as well.
Yeah. You always need the tech team, right?
Yes.
And let's talk about this, because I think a lot of times people think, well, I don't need the tech team, but then they get in trouble, and it's like they'll find you with the helicopter, right? I mean, it's like, because and so I just want to talk a little bit more about what you're talking about, the proactive IT team that you need in place to really help you. And it's not, most companies I find are reactive, and so this is like a double question, Les. So
go for it.
How do you make it a proactive kind of element of your strategy? But then I also want you to talk to people about how to talk to IT people, because sometimes IT people speak a different language, and so it's kind of like, how do you communicate with them effectively to make sure you're kind of talking the same language?
How to communicate with them. Let me try answering the first one first. So, and I'm good with using, things that are relatable. And again, I love using cars as an example, because there's very few people driving a car 10 years old. I guess a few, but it's not a substantial number of people. Folks like to get newer cars, what have you. You show me a 10-year laptop and you ask me to fix it, I'm going to suggest you go ahead and get another one. Because the time it takes me to fix or do anything with that 10-year laptop or device, our cell phones. If you got a cell, I got a great story for you, John, real quick.
Yeah.
The parole programs, what have you, that's out here. They had the guys who were coming back out into the community. They have to put little things, the ankle bracelets around their ankles. The ones that's out currently in a lot of communities, a lot of counties right now, are 3G. Now that we have 5G predominantly enough in a number of our communities, those 3G devices don't work anymore. So there had to be an investment made from the county's perspective, not in the county, picking out one in particular, had to make the investment, either 4G or 5G bracelets now to keep up with these individuals. Same thing. If your laptop or your phone doesn't support, 4 or 5G now, it's antiquated. I don't know too many devices that have 3G or definitely lesser that can work now in today's technology. With what we have available today. So I hope I answered that by using some.
No, you did. So now let's talk about how to communicate with the tech team, because I think a lot of times you have kind of like, the group over here that is, doesn't know how to communicate because they want everything done immediately. Everything should be easy. This and the other, kind of get it done now. And the IT people are like, hold on. I'm parachuting in. Into 3 months of discussions that you've had. Like, let me get my bearings type thing. So just kind of talk about how to kind of gel that group together.
It's always difficult to recreate a bad problem. Doctors can't recreate a heart attack. You just can't do it. But you take that experience that you learned by dealing with other situations as a doctor would, and come in and try and figure out whatever issue that might be. The communication part is as it looks like you're looking for. is difficult depending upon who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
The Answer People has roughly half of our clients are nonprofits. And in that nonprofit environment, they have a different mindset in terms of what they're trying to do or their career goals or what have you. They don't have that tech acronym, tech experience or what have you to say, you know what, this is what's going on with my laptop is, I've had it's running slow. A lot of people complain about their devices, their equipment running slower. If you're not doing daily updates or weekly updates or some simplified things, and again, with our clients, that's what we try to do. We try to set up either a monthly or bi-monthly contract where we're coming in and just making sure everything's up to date. There's no issues. We don't have any viruses that's been sitting around or somebody brought in through a flash drive or downloaded something they shouldn't have. The conversations are such that tell us what's going on. We may have to, look at the device for the device for a number of hours, and explaining what's going on. We'll try and figure out what the issue is. Hopefully, we can recreate it, but it's difficult to recreate a heart attack.
Yeah. That analogy makes me nervous. All right, good. I love it. And now let's talk about. I want to talk about the Answer People. Having a business that's been in business for over 20 years is impressive. Mm-hmm. What's the secret?
Patience. When I say patience, what the secret is, John, is discovery. Much like if you was trying to sell something, well, what you're trying to learn in your discovery is what's going on with the client, what their needs are, where they're at right now in terms of their technology, and where they're trying to go with their technology, where they're trying to go with their business. So if you understand where they're trying to go with the business, you can make the best advice for them in terms of, how to support their business with the tech support services, with the technology, hardware and software that they need. We had 10, 15 years ago, we had a number of clients working off QuickBooks or Peachtree for their accounting. Now, at some point in time, we have to gravitate and tell them, share with them, and again, working with their accountant, can we now put them online and put them online in a safe, secure way that they can go ahead and manage their stuff remotely? No one needs to have, any applications put onto their desktop or laptop that they can access remotely from any location.
Yeah. You're good. I love it. All right, good. I love what you're talking about. So somebody starting a business today in 2021 out of college, what's one piece of advice you'd give them?
My son just graduated a year ago. So I pushed him to edge them on to do some data management, get a better understanding of data management. And that's what he got his degree in. So, he's doing very good right now. That's my push. Data management and security services. I pushed him going security services too. He didn't want to do that.
He didn't want to do that.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of speed round questions for you, Les. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Oh, wow. From a business perspective, wow. Take your time.
I love that. Yeah.
Take your time and evaluate the whole situation.
Yeah.
Don't be so quick. I got a quick story. Had a young man, my mom's car, her battery went out. Called AAA, no plug for AAA. AAA came out, and the young man said, I have the battery switched out in 10 minutes. The young man put in the wrong battery. He was so fast, he did not read the year on the car. He did not read the battery information on his cell phone device. And he pulled the wrong battery out the back of his truck, put in the wrong one, connected the positive to the negative, negative to the positive, shorted out a fuse in the car. So now my mom's car is stranded. And
hey,
all right.
Yeah.
Take
your time. I love it.
Take your time.
I love it.
Read everything, evaluate everything before you make that first move, because that first move is the most important one.
Yeah. I love it. My last question, finish this sentence, Les. One thing that everybody needs to do to connect more effectively with their IT department is?
Wow. most effective way to connect to them?
Like, to me, it's like, be proactive and get some, some consistent strategy meetings, and,
from a layman's perspective, just stay involved, make them aware, find time for things to be maintained or upgrade or updated. Find time for that.
Yeah, that's good.
But from a professional perspective, there's a lot of groups. Microsoft has their groups. Apple has their groups.
Yeah.
The answer people, between myself and our partners, we're always involved in different things. Of course, now more remotely, but before remote was a predominant thing. We were always involved with other tech organizations and getting the latest and greatest from our different partners.
Yeah. All right, good. Les, I love talking with you. I always love talking about IT. What you do is so important. Tell everybody your ideal clients and how they can get a hold of you.
Our dear clients are the startups. To get them involved, my direct phone number is 248-325-8598. But we also want to work with the small to mid-sized organizations. Again, it was very important right now to have your tech in place, as you mentioned earlier. There's so much, we're going to be remote for, a very long time. It may be hybrid in a lot of instances, but I can see the workplace, the work environments for almost every organization in some form working remotely.
It's great. Well, I appreciate you taking time to be on the show, Les. Thank you so much. If Les can help any of you, please connect with him. And Les, it was a pleasure getting to know you. And it's just a shout out to our mutual friend, David Broner, that introduced us.
Yes. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Hold on, Les, when we close out. But I want to thank you, Think Community. Thanks so much. Grow your relationship strategically with your IT group. And if Les can help you, reach out. Thanks very much, Les. Appreciate you being on the show.
All right, thanks, John.